Yes, good morning, students. So, we have reached up to the last part of the chapter from trade to territory. Till now, I have told you that how British East India Company entered India. They came in the name of the trade, and they gradually started annexing the states and establishing their rule in each and every territory that they were annexing. So, what kind of policies they implemented to dominate and annex more and more territories and to establish their power. So, the policies which they implemented that helped very easily to for them to take over the territories, and then they wanted to change the system also. Okay, they believe that the Indians, they did not have efficient system, efficient court system, and in the sphere of army also, so there was no any proper system that was there earlier by the Indians. So they wanted to change that system also. So this topic is setting up a new administration. Means what kind of changes they brought in the administration also. So Warren Hastings, he was the first Governor General from the year 1773 to 1785. He played a significant role in the expansion of the company power. British territory was expanding. Company had acquired power not only in Bengal but also in Bombay and Madras. So likewise now at present the India country is divided into states. So that time the British territories, the British power was divided into different administrative units called the presidencies. So they had three presidencies: Bengal Presidency, Madras Presidency, and Bombay Presidency, each ruled by governor, and the supreme head was Governor General. Warren Hastings introduced several administrative reforms, several changes he introduced in the sphere of justice also and in the sphere of army also. So from 1772, a new system of justice established. In the districts there were two courts, criminal court and the civil court. Criminal court was known as Faujdari Adalat and civil court was known as Diwani Adalat. And Faujdari Adalat, these courts were under Qazi and a Mufti, but under the supervisions of collectors. So Qazi was the judge, and Mufti was a person of Muslim community only who made sure that the verdicts given by the Qazi were implemented properly. And the Maulvis and Hindu Pandits interpreted Indian laws for European district collector. So was everything so easy going with the system? No, because there were some challenges also. So what were the challenges? The major problem was that the Brahmin Pandits have different interpretations of local laws based on different schools of the Dharma Shastra. Because they went to different schools and they had to interpret the laws to the European district collectors. So they had different interpretations because they have gone to different schools. So there was no uniformity. So to bring the uniformity, in 1775, 11 Pandits were asked to compile a digest of Hindu laws. So they compiled the digest of Hindu laws, and N.B. had translated this digest into English. So by 1778, a code of Muslim laws was also compiled for the benefit of European judges. So this is how they slowly they were, we can say, changing the systems. Regulating Act of 1773, under that a new Supreme Court was established and one Court of Appeal, the Southern Nizamat Adalat, was also established. So the first Supreme Court in India was built in Calcutta, but now you know it is in Delhi. The principal figure in an Indian district was the collector. What was the main job of the collector? The main job was to collect the revenue and the taxes, maintain law and order in his district. And how was it done? It was done with the help of judges, police officers, and darogas. The collector became the new center of power and patronage that steadily replaced previous holders of authority. Okay, so these were the changes in the court system. Now the army also. So there were changes in the army also. The power of the colonial administration rested on its military strength. Means how strong the army was. So that defines the colonial administration. So army during the Mughal period was divided into cavalry and infantry. Cavalry were the savars, the soldiers who fought on the horseback, and infantry, the soldiers, the paddle soldiers who were trained in archery and sword. So cavalry dominated the army that time, and infantry did not play the major role. Why? Because You know that the cavalry means the soldiers on the horseback, they easily reached up to the enemies, and infantry they had to paddle march, so they took more time to reach. Changes occur in the 18th century, but after 18th century, there were some changes. Mughal successor states like Awadh and Banaras started recruiting peasants into their army. So they started training the small farmers, and they, you entered them into recruit they started recruiting them into their armies. East India Company adopted the same method. So they also adopted the same method and they formed the Sepoy army, means the Sipahi army. But as the warfare technology changed from 1820s, cavalry requirements for the company's army declined. Why? Because they wanted to keep pace with the changing military requirement, and now the British Empire was fighting in Burma, Afghanistan, and Egypt. They were armed with muskets and matchlocks, so they were more advanced. So British, the company also thought that they had to keep changing, they had to keep pace with the changing military requirement. So that's why more cavalry was required. Another change, infantry was required, not cavalry. Another change in the company army was the uniform military culture. So they used to go on the drills. They had some kind of discipline in that. They had European style of training. Often this created problems since caste and community feelings were ignored in building a force of professional soldiers. So it was like that they were forced to use the bullets coated with pig fat. That we will study there. That's a different concept that we will study in the chapter, the revolt of 1857. So religious society also played a it was had a key position. It has that, and sentiments had a key position. So what is the conclusion of the chapter? Conclusion of the chapter is that the East India Company came as a trading company, but it changed to territorial colonial power. An arrival of new steam technology played an important role in this process. The journey to India took 6 to 8 months, but new steamship reduced the time period of 3 weeks. So that made possible that more and more people from England started coming to India and they settled there for more resources. By 1857, the company had a vast empire in India. Company exercised direct rule over about 63% of the territory and 78% of the population of the Indian subcontinent. So this was about the chapter. That's all with the chapter. And next time we will discuss the question answers and the back exercises. I hope you have understood each and everything, but this is not the end. What happened after that, how the Indians revolted back, how they protested in different kinds of movements were there. So this was just the beginning. So the rest, the story is still left. So that we will study in the next chapter. Okay, till then, take care. Thank you so much.